Rifle shield deployed. Get behind me.
What's up, guys? It's Shield Bros here, back at you with another video. Alright, so today, before I get into the main meat of the video, I want to show you this clip. At the end of the video, I'll explain why it was so important. But what I want you to do is just take a look at this clip. It was from the Ubisoft Year 6 Total Reveal this Sunday. And there's something significant about it that I want to bring to your guys' awareness. It's something that they didn't mention, and I think that is pretty important and pretty big news. So at the end of the video, I will be going back over the clip and telling you exactly what is so important about this particular clip.
Just being able to get metrics on the community, what the issues that they're facing. And
Alright, so today I'm going to be going over the Year 6 Season 1 designer notes, and Ubisoft puts these out every year at the start of each season to kind of let the community know what their intentions are going into the season before they actually release the season out live or put it on the test servers. So if you read through these, you can usually find out what's going to be about to happen before all your friends who just kind of show up and play the game. As always, they have these win delta matrices for both attackers and defenders. There's a lot of the content creators who will go into depth on these things, so I'm not going to go into very much depth because why beat a dead horse? If you want to get a good video on these, I recommend Get Flanked or Rogue 9. They both do great videos, usually talking about the win deltas. So I'm not going to touch on that, and I will not touch on the ban rates for the operators either, because a lot of that does change seasonally, but as you can see, Thatcher is always going to be picked super high because people seem to think that wall denial is something that they can't handle, so they just ban Thatcher, and then they don't even bring anything to stop hard reaching entry, which I don't quite get why you even ban Thatcher then, but whatever. Alright, so operator balancing. So the first one up on the list is Cali. So her CSRX 300 was initially a DBNO, or down but not out, weapon. So as soon as you hit somebody, it was DBNO. It didn't matter what their armor was. And that was pretty frustrating for a lot of players. So what they're doing now is they are changing it to be a damage-based weapon. So instead of having just a sweeping generalization of everyone gets downed, now all 3-speed operators not wearing rook armor will get killed. They will not be downed, they will get killed. And then the other set of operators will be downed. If you're wearing rook armor though, you have the potential of being a DBNO or completely surviving the shot. I'm not going to read this to you word for word, so I'm assuming you can read. What they're looking at down here in this little damage percent reduction thing is essentially telling you that when you're that 127 points or 122 to whatever damage that you take, that will be the amount damage percentage off. So you just essentially take 127 times 0.35, and that gives you however much damage is going to deal to you if you're wearing rook armor and you're a 1-speed operator. So you have the opportunity to possibly not even get DBNO. You might completely survive the shot if you're a 2 or 3 speed, depending on where she hits you. If she hits you in the head, you're obviously dead because it's a one-shot headshot game mechanic. Moving on to Blackbeard. The operator everyone loves to hate, along with Clash. So his shields are a nuisance for everyone due to the fact that this is a one-shot headshot mechanic game. If you can't hit him in the head, it creates a bit of a problem. So they're taking his rifle shield health to 20. It's down from 50. So most weapons that I can think of right now, actually, except for at range, will destroy his shield with 1 bullet instead of 2. So you can get, if you can land 2 headshots back to back, the first one will destroy the shield, the second one will kill him. So it's going to reduce his effective ability to peek corners if you're ready for him. Also, they're taking the damage of his assault rifle down to give the defenders a little bit more of a chance to actually survive his shots. All right, Dokubi. So this Gone 6 weapon is this like think of it as a small mixture between Ash's breaching charges and Cali's explosive lance. It's kind of a mixture between the two of them, and you have one shot. So Dokkaebi, all that's happening to her is she's going to be receiving this new gadget, but it's going to be removing her C75, which, in my personal opinion, I preferred to use that over the SMG, just because I like the way it felt. Tell EG, they apparently don't like it too, but it cost them a championship. She's also going to be removing her frag grenades. They say in here, it was the intention to give her frag grenades was to help deal with the bulletproof meta and not to actually improve her kills, which is what actually happened. So they're taking the frag grenades back and giving her this explosive weapon in order to kind of allow her to continue to deal damage to bulletproof gadgets, but dial back that the kill factor of Dokkaebi, which I get, but you're going to see your kill factor drop a lot farther down than I think you wanted it to. All right, so next up is Finka, also receiving the Gone 6, and removing her GSH-18 pistol. So I believe she keeps the PMM, which is a great pistol anyways. It's the highest damaging pistol other than the Deagle and Cavs. But she's getting her frag grenades removed, which is probably a good thing, though doesn't make much sense because most Finkas, when they're played, are some sort of rush, and most rush strategies don't involve frag grenades at all. So those Finka players will probably not notice a difference, but any Finka player who plays as a team and as a slow push and then all of a sudden a rapid push at the end will notice the ability to remove utility, 2 sets of utility instead of 1 from the Gone, is going to be severely limited. Next up is Mozzie. All they're changing is the detection. So you know how mute jammers, the closer you get, the more static you get on your screen. It's going to be something similar to Mozzie, except it's going to be a pest blinking icon. It's not going to really change how he's played at all. And his pick rate's probably not going to change. He's still a great operator. Even though he lost a super shorty, he's still got a great loadout. The one I want to touch on the most is Nook. So when you're in the Nook's the Hell President's reduction, her ability is now going to negate all proximity-based gadgets. So you can walk straight past them without setting them off. This will make Nook absolutely terrifying because you won't be able to set a proximity sensor and say, oh, I'll know if Nook's sneaking up behind me. She's just going to walk right through it and kill you. The biggest thing in this that I don't necessarily agree with is while Ela's, Gersmont Mines, the Banshee, Proximity Alarm, and Metal detectors are kind of iffy, but the other 3 all do matter about proximity. Kapkan's entry denial device is not a proximity-based thing because you can stand on one side and be completely fine, but as soon as you walk through the door, you get blown up. It has nothing to do with proximity. It's a laser detection. Nook does not make you invisible to everything. Her gadget makes you invisible to electronics, not laser sensors. That's why when you go through barbed wire, it still affects the barbed wire. If you go through a tripwire, it should still affect the tripwire. So I don't necessarily agree with that change. But the other 3 I can kind of understand. It has proximity sensors must work somewhat like a camera in order to be able to tell in the range. Metal detectors, she's got metal guns, so it doesn't make sense why it wouldn't work if you're just doing it on, if you're going for realism. They do make a note that it is in the test server change only, so it won't be released right into the game right away. They're going to still test it a little bit more and probably do a mid-season release if this is what they want to stick with. But I do hope they change the EDD and the metal detector because both those are not proximity-based gadgets. All right, down to Twitch. Adding smoke grenades and removing stun grenades. I'm assuming that they're doing this in order to help do a smoke plant with Twitch and take her back from the whole secondary Ash playstyle of run and gun. because most people don't use her gadget anyways. So without flashes, she can't just run into a blinded room, and just start gunning people down. She has to use a smoke grenade, which I get. I think it will help her, but you won't see a huge noticeable change. Next up is weapon balancing. And they only really talk about the G36C, which, in my opinion, I personally, ever since the R4C lost the ACOG, I've been using the G36 because it has 1.5 times scope, which is a really good alternative. It's almost, I personally like the 2.0 scope the best, so 1.5 is really nice, especially if you're just trying to take long-range gunfights and you're not just rushing in. And it also has the angled grip, which can make a huge difference if you are just rushing in. So I personally prefer it over the R4C, and they're improving the recoil. So yay for me, I guess, and anyone else who's a G36 main. So what they're talking about here is disable state for electronic gadgets. So whenever Mute says he jammed something, it would tell you like jammed breach charge, jammed X-Carrier cluster. It's just now going to be let everyone know what's going on. I believe that's what this means. It's not super clear if it's just for Mute or for all the players, but it's just going to tell you everything. I didn't even know Mute jammers could jam claymores until I noticed on this that it said they could, so that's awesome. So that is what's coming in Season 1. I will probably be doing another video to iterate what the designers put out yesterday on what is coming in Year 6 in general as an overhaul. And that video should hopefully come up within the next week, and I just would like to touch on a few points that they mentioned. Alright, so next up is going to be that clip again. I'm about to tell you why it was so important. But if you pay close attention, you'll notice that when this Ash rushes in, you hang right, and right here, you see that wall reinforcement? There's only 2 walls reinforced, and it is the lower 2 parts of that wall. So that means the top parts are still soft. Everyone has had this idea of a half wall operator, one that I've brought up in one of my videos in the past, and I think that operator is actually going to be seen because this is from Ubisoft's personal test server that they're using with their own testers. So they're trying out this half wall idea. What I think is actually going to be happening is they've mentioned that a whole bunch of operators, actually specifically 3 operators, this year will be reworked. They mentioned Castle as one of them. I believe Castle is going to turn into a half-wall operator instead of his castle barricades. Because if you think in just medieval terms, castles have walls, and on those walls have ramparts. Those usually stand about waist high. So it kind of makes sense with his name that he would be able to put up waist-high reinforcements. So that's why I believe this particular clip is of such importance, because they never mentioned it. So I'm probably guessing it's Year 6, Season 3 or 4 rework for Castle, because it's so far out they haven't really decided if that's actually what they want to do. But it's pretty significant because it would completely change the whole meta of the game if you can do a half-wall reinforcement. Alright guys, so that concludes this video. As always, if you enjoyed the video at all or learned anything, please like, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and check out some of my other videos. It really helps the channel. Thank you guys. Shields up. I'm out.